I swear it feels like every other day one of these big publishers is being sued. A few days ago we talked about how wrestler Booker T is suing Activision Blizzard over a Black Ops 4 specialist that looks a lot like a comic book character that he owns, which is called G.I. Bro. In that same video I mentioned the numerous celebrities like Alfonso Ribeiro, who famously portrayed Carlton in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, suing Epic Games over Fortnite dance moves. In the beginning of 2019, Bethesda and Warner Brothers resolved the Westworld mobile game lawsuit, which led to that game being permanently shut down. Bethesda is also dealing with a US law firm taking legal action against them because of how they handled Fallout 76 refunds. So yeah, the lawyers at Bethesda, they've been pretty busy as of late. So yeah, lots of legal messes to start 2019, and there are a few more that I'm forgetting to mention, but I think you get the point. Anyway, Bethesda is actually being sued again over the potential Elder Scrolls 6 trademark that has been rumored to be called Redfall. Yeah, so if you didn't know already, for the last number of months there has been a ton of speculation of the location for the next Elder Scrolls game based on the footage that was shown or kind of teased at E3 2018. While many viewed this trailer as simply a title sequence, which is what it was mainly intended for, there were a few more interesting hints that indicate that most likely the Elder Scrolls 6 will take place in Hammerfell. This trailer scene specifically appears to be shot down over the north side of Hammerfell, very close to High Rock, so honestly maybe Bethesda features two provinces for the Elder Scrolls 6. There's just very little we know regardless about this actual game, and there's debate about the location and whatnot, but the Redfall trademark was actually filed late last year after the E3 reveal, specifically in September. What makes me believe that the next Elder Scrolls could be called the Elder Scrolls 6 Redfall is that the Red Guards are the race of people that reside in Hammerfell, and like the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, maybe Redfall is referring to an event that occurs during that game. There are several theories of what the storyline Bethesda could be planning for the Elder Scrolls 6, just simply based on Redfall. My assumption that I've had for years is that for the Elder Scrolls 6 the Eldmeri Dominion would be a major focus. Based on the events that took place in the Skyrim timeline, it seems likely another war with the Eldmeri Dominion is soon to break out. I mean, they were the reason for the Skyrim Civil War, which had the Empire going against the Stormcloaks. Anyway, I think it's important to note that in the current timeline, the last we heard is that Hammerfell is no longer part of the Empire and only recently signed a treaty to stop fighting with the Eldmeri Dominion. Obviously, that's just some of my speculation. I don't want to go too deep into this because there's a lot of lore that could be brought up, but I think the overall point is that Redfall does make sense, and I will add, I think it actually is a pretty good name. Now the problem no matter what is that Bethesda is being sued over this trademark right now. Filed just a few weeks ago, first pointed out by YouTuber Skullzy TV, Bookbreeze.com LLC has opposed the trademark, and it appears this case is now heading to court. Currently on the United States Patent and Trademark Office website, it states the following about the Redfall trademark. The pending trademark application has been examined by the office and was published for opposition, at which time one or more oppositions were filed, but they have not been decided. So you may be curious, does this opposition have a case against Bethesda, or should I say their parent company ZeniMax Media? And honestly, I think there could be a case. Redfall is actually the name of a book series, a post-apocalyptic survival thriller written by J.J. Falconer. The book was published back in May of 2016, and on the Amazon store page it's listed as a #1 bestseller. Anyway, this author actually took to Twitter to send a message about the case publicly to a Games Radar reporter who recently made an article about the case. What he had to say was, "Your Redfall article. My lawyers made attempts to contact gaming company to work out a simple licensing deal for them to use my Redfall name. They ignored me every time. Shame, left me no choice. All could have been avoided. Just call my attorneys back." And the thing is, ZeniMax is known for being a very aggressive company when it comes to taking legal action. So my assumption is that they are planning to fight this. The Elder Scrolls 6 likely is still years away, and the fact that ZeniMax has been unwilling to communicate at all with the author tells me they plan to take this to the courts. One infamous example of how far ZeniMax and Bethesda will go to protect their IP or get their own way is with the Fallout Online trademark. In 2009, Bethesda Softworks announced a move to rescind the Fallout MMO license from Interplay. This would be the start of years of legal battles over this trademark, and the Fallout online game Interplay was developing. Bethesda was trying to shut that down. The thing is, Bethesda lost numerous court rulings, but just kept going and going until finally, all the way in 2012, both parties settled and ultimately Bethesda got its way. Back in 2012 also, as reported by Forbes, Mojang, creators of the hit indie game Minecraft, filed for a trademark on the name Scrolls for their game. Bethesda's parent company ZeniMax responded by filing a lawsuit claiming that Mojang was infringing on their trademark for their Elder Scrolls series, which includes the recent best-selling game Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. This would eventually lead to a settlement allowing Mojang to use Scrolls as the name for one game and its add-on content, but nothing more, so like a sequel was not allowed. Which again, in this case, Bethesda actually suffered a loss in court, but ultimately settled with the indie developer at the time. Another example is more recently in 2017 when ZeniMax stopped No Matter Studios from trademarking their indie game Pray for the Gods, which to avoid a legal fight, the studio changed the spelling of Pray to Praey. Now, just based on this history, I believe that eventually Bethesda will get their way. Although what I find strange is that this book author is willing to work with them, but so far no resolution or likely communication has been made. Fortunately for right now, we do have some legal documents that show that this case is moving forward and could stretch all the way to 2021. As you can see, the first apparent date for this case would begin next month, and the final potential date stretches all the way to the end of 2020, but even then, if Bethesda were to not get their way, they likely would keep at it, as we have seen through the years. Now, looking at the actual legal complaint over the trademark, as you can see, BookBreeze points out that the Redfall trademark ZeniMax is filing for, and they mention all the different aspects that this trademark would cover, which obviously it's mostly all video game related, stuff like software, wallpapers, digital music, film, etc. Now, it appears based on this filing, BookBreeze has only recently filed a trademark in December of 2018 for their book franchise Redfall, which, as I mentioned earlier, these books were published in 2016, long before Bethesda filed their trademark. BookBreeze's trademark would cover goods and services, series of fiction books, audiobooks in the nature of novels, downloadable fiction ebooks, and a variety of topics. Next, BookBreeze would specifically get to the issue that they have with Bethesda or ZeniMax trademark. They point out both parties' Redfall is identical in sound and appearance. Redfall will be used by both parties in related fields and formats. The applicant's mark, being ZeniMax, will be used for, among other things, electronic publications including books and novels, movies, and video games. The opposer's mark, being BookBreeze, is being used for fiction books, audiobooks, and downloadable ebooks. The applicant's goods and services are very similar to the goods and services offered by the opposer. Due to the very high similarity in the marks and the closely related nature of the goods and services, there's a very high likelihood of confusion between these marks. Alternatively, the applicant's use of its mark is likely to cause mistake as to the source of its or opposer's goods and services. Due to the likelihood of confusion and the likelihood of mistake between applicant's mark and opposer's mark, the applicant's mark should be denied. This all coming from BookBreeze in their legal complaint against ZeniMax. For right now, that is the case. So far, ZeniMax and Bethesda have not responded at all to this lawsuit, but I imagine they will fight against this. As we've seen before, if the ruling is against them, they likely will fight until they get their way, so this could very much get ugly. Of course, Bethesda could simply abandon their trademark, but in all honesty, I fully expect them to push forward with it no matter what. The Elder Scrolls 6 likely is not coming until at the earliest 2023, with the next game being Starfield, maybe coming next year, so they definitely have time to fight this in the courts. Now, taking a further look at the Redfall author's Twitter account, he did make one more comment, which sounds like he doesn't want this to get ugly. As he responded to Skullsy TV, "I'm a very reasonable person, a couple phone calls can resolve it. I would be thrilled to have a game released under my Redfall title, but need a simple licensing deal in place first. I know gaming company is very busy, but USPTO only provides a short window to deal with it." Which, I mean, he is right, this gaming company is very busy with all the legal complaints that have been made against them with Fallout 76. But based on some of the comments I have seen thrown this author's way, I hope people really knock off the attacks against him. Someone wrote under this tweet I just read, "Greedy mofo claiming a name cause he wrote an underselling book. I hope the courts see your claim for what it is, greed. And also, how the F do you claim to own a simple name like Redfall? Look at this, say it with me now, Red and Fall. Now put it together, what kind of copyright claim is that? It has nothing to do with your story, you money-grabbing hack." yikes. And unfortunately, this is the reaction I kind of expected from the usual brigade of fanboys. But yeah, I'm not a legal expert, so I really can't say for certain how this case will go, but I do think at the end of the day, this will be Bethesda getting their way. Anyway, I'll be keeping an eye on this case as it pushes forward. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but for right now, what do you make of this lawsuit against Bethesda and ZeniMax? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, but thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video or found any informative value, and make sure to follow my other social media accounts for updates on new videos. Links are always in the description down below. I'm most active on Twitter, giving opinions on news that I don't always get into video form, so make sure to follow me over there. Also check out my Discord for all sorts of conversation and discussion on games, and again, thank you for joining. Consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.